missed you.
Missed you too. Let's just do life.
I'm ready. The start of our story.
This is the perfect way to end the first chapter of our journey.
I came into this experiment wanting to find love. I found John.
It's hard to believe that the season is over. It really is, because it went by so fast. Maybe because there was a lot of toxicity. But at the same time, am I surprised with Leah and Lee's decision? No. I have to give credit to Julia Rose, because she called it when she said, why is it suddenly things have turned around? And so the truth has come out. They were never that serious. I think the two of them just decided to keep it going until the very end, or maybe production asked them to do that. And oh my God, Abigail and John are the definition of married at first sight. Two people that went into the experiment wanting to get married, found someone and made it work. And so I love that for them. I can't wait to see what happens with Reiss and Lee. Reiss and Lee, sadly, are going to be like Jordan from last season and his wife. They're going to be toxic and messy until they break up. That's the impression that I get. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. It's your girl, Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK, Season 10, Episode 33. So it's final vows, and it's hard to believe that it's final vows already. We have Abigail and John saying goodbye to one another. It was very sad. It was very, because they have been together and they've been drama-free and they've been focused on building and growing their relationship. So the idea that they're separating for the first time, I get it and I understand it, because they've never been apart. They've never fallen out. They've just been smooth sailing since they met each other at the altar. So it's really sad to see them sit there and cry and say goodbye. And even John, when he stayed behind on his own, to see him crying, that was heartbreaking for me. That was heartbreaking for me, because you can tell this man really loves this woman and really sees a future with her. So I love it for them. We then go to the complete opposite, which is Reiss and Leisha. Reiss and Leisha, for me, are two people who had issues that could have easily been resolved. That's what I'm going to say. Had they brought them up to the experts, had the experts not been overwhelmed with putting out so many fires, they could have benefited. And maybe it's not a good idea to have so many couples. Maybe this is where having 5 couples or 3 couples matters, because you are able to provide full attention to them, because their biggest issue has been the fact that they are moving at a different rate, and in the sense that Reiss is still sort of drawing back every time there's a conflict, whereas Leisha is at love and is ready to sort of live happily ever after. Her worry, obviously, is the fact that when they separate and go to their homes for the week, will Reiss miss her? Will he still have the same feelings that he had for her around her? And it's like, girl, there's nothing you can do. You can only hope. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. Your person is out there and they will meet you. I think the struggle they had was Leisha struggles to settle down, and Reiss doesn't want to have to put up with someone who's very hyper. And so at that, they shouldn't have been matched just because of that, because they were never going to meet or align. You have Leah and Lee. Those two are a toxic mess. They are a train wreck that we didn't get to see because there were so many fires going. Because it seems there is sort of bad blood because of the issue at the dinner party. The fact that you had Lee having kissed Leisha but doesn't want to take responsibility for that, and is actually blaming Leah for her behavior, to say, if you hadn't behaved the way you did, I wouldn't have done this. But because of the way you behaved, this is why we're here. I don't understand why they were even having that back and forth. I think at that point, they should have said, we're done, we're keeping it stepping. You go to your place, I go to my place. This is the end of the marriage. But I think, as I said before, a couple of episodes before, they wanted to get to the very end. There was someone who wanted clout, and they were going to drag it for all it was worth. For Lee to storm out, this is how she started the marriage, and this is how she's ended the marriage. So there's nothing new there. There's nothing different that I would say, oh my God, how could she storm out? This is who she's been from day one, from the day they got married. She's wanted to be treated as a princess. And I think this is why she wanted someone who was masked. And so this is nothing new. You have everyone go home to meet with their loved ones, and it's really cute to see them. So when they arrive home and they're being met by the loved ones and they're having conversations about their relationships. First up, we have Leah and Lee. They get to meet, well, Lee meets her friend who we've seen several times, who's got an RBF, that you can't even say anything to her because you don't know whether she's upset or whether she's just contemplating something. Lee, on her part, is met by her cousin. This was a trailer trash. Because you had her Lee sort of saying to her friend, "We argued before I left. We clashed before several times, and she's made it feel like my past is the reason why we're constantly having these arguments." And it's like you're telling her that you clashed. Why did you clash? And why didn't her friend ask why did the two of you clash? She didn't, because her friend knows the type of person that you are. I feel like her friend knew that Lee was a problem and Lee wanted to be on TV, and so this is why she didn't interrogate her friend in anything, because from day one we've had issues of trust. Trust has been a big issue. Instead of going on TV, she should have gone to therapy, and then maybe after therapy she could have come back onto the show. But being on Married at First Sight wasn't the right decision for Lee, because all she's done is she's caused someone else a lot of heartache by dragging them down with her sort of issues in relationship. Anyway, Leah then tells her cousin that they clashed at dinner party because Lee kissed Leisha, and had she done the same thing, it would have been a nightmare. And she's saying, I wonder why I stayed, but then I stayed because we shared the same morals, and she's a good person. And it's like, I get it, but at the same time, you cannot continue to subject yourself to abuse just because someone is a good person. If they're not treating you great, then them being good doesn't matter. Because what does them being good mean if they are not treating you great? If she was treating you great and then she had other issues, it's one thing, but she wasn't treating you the best. She was constantly making allegations against you. So why would you think that that's a good person? I don't get it and I don't understand it. You have Abby and her mom. Abby's mom is day and night, because I remember seeing her at the wedding and thinking, oh my God, this mom is going to be a nightmare. But actually seeing her now and how much she loves John and she appreciates John and is John's loudest cheerleader, it's surprising. I don't know whether they've been meeting with her parents away from the cameras, because there must be something that has sort of made the mom turn around so quickly, because we all were side-eyeing her at the wedding when she was saying, I need to approve of whoever you're matched with. And I remember John sort of questioning whether this was a good idea for him, given how she sort of interrogated him. But I think they must have had a meetup away from the cameras and had conversations which convinced the mom that this was the guy for her daughter. John, on his part, met with his mom and his sisters. He revealed that they haven't had any conflict in the experiment. So if they do have conflict, they will need to sort of learn to navigate that, because they don't have the experts there. And it's like, maybe having conflict away from the experiment is better, because you don't have production asking you to sort of run that thing over and over and over. So yes, they will have conflict. Nothing ever runs smoothly in life. So they will have conflict, but it's just how they sort of handle that. John's family love Abby. They really do, just as Abby's mom really loves John. And so it's nice to see a couple that are matched and that feel like, they have found their person. And I'm so happy for them. And I love this for them. So, final vows. The first couple up is Leah and Lee. For me personally, I don't even know why we waited this long. I personally don't. Well, I could have done with Leah without Lee. That's what I'm going to say. Leah is the first one to come out. I feel like she wanted the upper hand. She is the first one to say her vows. She talks about the fact that they have struggled. Yes, Leah is a good person. She has cared for her. She's done ABC, but also they've struggled because of trust issues, in the sense that you have constantly blamed me to say my past is affecting how I relate in our relationship, and it's like, girl, please. You have been the issue in your marriage. You have to take that. You have been the issue in your marriage, because right from day one, when you got married, you were the reason why you two struggled as a couple. So the idea that you're suddenly saying, oh no, this is something new, this is something that hasn't happened before, I'm not buying it. I really am not. And so for her to say no, am I surprised Lee said no? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And even for Leah to say no, am I surprised? No. Because Leah said, you've let your past hurts affect our relationship. You were quick to critique. I felt like I was being managed. There was conflicting behaviors. One moment you'd be happy, the next minute you'd be sad. And you've blamed me and judged me for a lot of things. And that's the truth. That's the truth, because every time we've heard of something wrong that Leah has done, but we've barely heard of anything that Lee has done. So the idea that they are where they are and their marriage doesn't work, this is nothing new. This is nothing shocking. This is nothing surprising. So I'm here for it. I'm here for Leah getting her moment to speak her truth and say, I deserve more. I deserve someone who will trust me. I deserve someone who will value me. I deserve someone who won't interrogate me. So for the two of them to say no, that wasn't a surprise. That wasn't a surprise. And then the poster children for, Marriage at First Sight, John and Abby. John and Abby were that sweet sort of fairy tale sort of relationship, because you could tell they were excited to see one another from the moment they met, and they were sort of kissing each other and sort of just standing there and listening and saying the most positive things about one another, how they uplift each other, they are caring towards one another, they are each other's soulmates, they can't wait to do life together. For Abby to say, I know you'll be an amazing dad, it shows you that they've had conversations for hours, maybe, about the type of life that they want. They give me Bliss and Zach vibes, in the sense that I wouldn't be surprised if they have children very soon. I don't know whether there are any other couples on Married at First Sight that have had children, but I wouldn't be surprised in a year or two if we hear that, they're expecting their first child, because they were that happy and they were just that giddy and they were just that focused on their relationship as a couple, and didn't pay attention to everything else that was happening around them, and tried to avoid sort of involving themselves in the drama. And so if they leave the experiment, if they focus on that, they will be happy. I know I've seen a couple of clips of them, saying we're still together, and they're still just as giddy and as excited as they were when they were on the show. So I love this for them, and I can't wait to see what they do next. You then have Leisha and Reiss. Leisha, well, she sat down for a chat with her friend, and Reiss sat down for a chat with his mom and his sister. Sadly for Leisha, she made her bed. She has to lie in it, in the sense that she sort of put off Reese's mom, and so there's no way Reese's mom is going to fight for her, given the fact that she was saying that I can't wait to have kids, I can't wait to do this, that, and the other. And so now suddenly she is saying, I miss him. He's not as emotionally where I am, and there's the lack of security, in the sense that he's not constantly reassuring her. And it's like, girl, he told you this is not who he is. He told you this is not who he is. You should have allowed him to move at his pace, and maybe when he got to where you are, he would have given you what you wanted. But you wanted him on day one to come in and say, I love you, we're happily married, we're going to live happily ever after, we're going to ride into the sunset, and this is why you are where you are. Reiss, on his part, was telling his mom that they're not on the same page. She has stronger feelings. And he said, the constant arguments have sort of caused him to sort of draw back and sort of hold back how he feels, because they're constantly fighting. If they're not fighting about this, they're fighting about that. And so this is why he struggled with his emotions, to see if there's a way forward for the two of them. And it's like, okay. I personally don't know what else they can do to make it work. I really don't, because they have tried everything. And so maybe they're not each other's person. As much as Leisha's fallen in love, maybe she needs to go to therapy and find out why she always moves from 0 to 100 in the speed of lightning, and see if there's a way she can sort of navigate a relationship healthily, because the experiment didn't help her with this. So you then have them sort of meet up for their final vows. I feel like there is a lot of respect for one another. There is a lot of care between Reiss and Leisha, but sadly for them, there is the drama. So Leisha went up first. She said, you have my heart, but you worry about the drama. I want reassurance, and I really see you as my life partner. So I want to continue with this and see if we can make it work. I was like, it's nice that she wants to see if she can make it work, but I don't know how Reiss is going to match up to her, given the fact that she can be overwhelming at times. Even her family know that, and he doesn't like that. It puts him off. So he needs to be honest with himself and say to himself, do I see a future or not? If he doesn't, then he needs to allow her to keep stepping. Reiss on his part said, initially when they first got married, he was upset about the conversation on the flight. And as soon as he said that, you could see her face that it dropped. I think she thought they'd got over it. So for him to bring it up was something she didn't expect. He spoke about the struggles in their relationship and the drama that comes with it. And the pressure, for him to move faster the same way she is. And so he was trying to sort of navigate that to see if they could live happily ever after. I don't know what's going to happen with these two. Do I see them riding into the sunset like Abigail and John? Maybe for a while. Maybe for a while until, they're both reached their wits' end. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 32. Bye everyone.